Now, the period after I dropped my son off at college with my wife is a period of time which was essentially my wife's last 4 months of her life. And I've never really got into this a whole lot because it was really a very weird time. We dropped him off in late September. October, November, and really into half of December was what's called my open enrollment. I was an insurance agent, and for me, it was about 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. It's really where you make most of your money for the January 1st enrollment period. And if you've been in this business, you understand. But at the time, that was my focus, and I would come home at night, and Amanda would be inebriated on the couch every night. And I was really at the point where I just didn't really have time to deal with it. And it wasn't my focus at all. I mean, she at this point, she'd already been to 6 rehabs. We had done everything humanly possible. And my goal was to get my son through his childhood. And, really, we dropped him off at college. So my long-term goal had been met. So it was time for another phase. And if this is the first time seeing me, well, I was married for 25 years, and my wife unfortunately passed away from alcohol use disorder we're going on 5 years in February, so pretty close. And unfortunately, during this time, she was watching television like 12, 18 hours a day. She was not allowed to drive anymore. In fact, I took the battery out of the car. I've told stories about that. She didn't have a license that had been long since revoked because she had 4 DUIs. She was uninsurable, and I didn't even register the car because nobody was driving that thing. Okay, so she was kind of stuck. And this is the period where I discovered Lady, where she was, ordering beer through DoorDash, and she also had a good friend that was bringing alcohol. I mean, being gone, I had gotten to the point where it didn't matter a whole lot to me either way. And it was a very sad period. I think in any relationship, it's very sad when you've gotten to the point where you don't care anymore. You really can't. It's not about love. It's not about hate. It's about you're just numb to it. That's the best way to describe it. You no longer can absorb any more of the toxicity or just the drama that ensues because someone's drunk all the time. I wouldn't even really talk about it. I mean, if she was drunk on the couch, I would just go in the other room. We didn't really communicate a whole lot the last few months, and I think her brain, I think she definitely was coming down with Wernicke-Korsakoff. She certainly had signs of that, and that means she had wet brain, so it was a form of dementia. She just was not, she was no longer there. It just felt like that she had left the building in a sense. And most nights, I went in one room and she went in the other. I couldn't be around it anymore. And I tell these stories in this kind of detail because it's important to tell the truth. Unless you tell the truth, there's really no point in telling the story because it resonates with people who are in this situation. It resonates with other families and alcoholics who have been through this. So by December and Christmas, my son was coming home. And he came home for a couple of days, and he really didn't want to be around it at all. I think he stayed for about 3 days, and then immediately flew off to Texas to see his girlfriend, and that was the last time he ever saw his mother. After Christmas, it was kind of business as usual. It's kind of a blur to me the last month because I just felt like I really wasn't really involved a whole lot with her. At this point, I'd actually talked to lawyers, and I was looking, and I had a plan for a legal separation. And then there was the opportunity in late January, which was really the last month that she lived with us. And I believe it was late January, and I came home one day, and there was a big hole at the bottom of the stairs, right in the drywall, big hole right in the wall. And I confronted her with it. She didn't know. She goes, I don't know how it got there. And I looked at it, and there was actually some of her hair was in the drywall. So what had happened, she had fallen down the stairs, and she had pile-drived her head right into the wall when I was gone. And she had been so drunk she didn't even know. So I sat her down. I said, look, you haven't had a sober day since we dropped Griffin off back last fall. It's time to go to a rehab again. And you're going tonight. And the reality is, I had set up a rehab for her, and then she was going to go into a sober living facility for about a year. And at that point, when she was in a sober living facility in more of a stable situation, I was going to serve her, with papers. It was really the end of the road for me. And in my mind, I was done. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, as far down as I could go, I had done that. My son was in college, and I wanted to concentrate on him and on the positive sides of our life. So on that note, I think I'm going to have to make a part two because it's getting a little bit long. But I want to point out her memoir. A lot of things that we're talking about are in here. Like, there's a lot of good things too. It's not all bad, but it's Amanda, a cautionary tale of alcoholism. The pre-orders you can actually find in my link tree, in my bio. Go to the link tree, go to the website, and the PayPal button will open right up. It's also going to be on Amazon on Thursday, December 12th, 2024. And all the books for the pre-orders are supposed to go out on Thursday, which are December 12th, 2024. Order today, and they'll go out in a day or two. They're going to go out in 2 days. Depending on when you watch it, and this might be tomorrow, might already come. Last thing I want to say, as I go live Monday through Friday, right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern. We also have the Facebook group called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Great group for people and their families. Safe place to talk about, ask questions, a lot of participation in there. Please join that. And when you're ready to work with me one-on-one, I have the coaching program. Again, it's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. It takes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Do a deep dive into what's going on with you. And then we go over the coaching program, and it's really designed to help families and the alcoholic in their family. The call is free. The program definitely is not. But I want people who are coachable and who are ready to change their lives and the lives of their family. And again, thanks so much for listening.